So I've been wild camping for a while now, and when you first start, you may stay under a tarp, you may bivvy camp, you may do all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, a lot of people out there are going to want a tent. Now, when I first started, didn't have loads of cash, still don't. So I jumped on Facebook Marketplace and someone was giving away this little blue Lichfield, little 2-man tent. So I picked it up and it has evolved to where I am now. The Phoxx 2 version 2, the OneTigris, up to probably the world's most famous, best, probably one of the most expensive, the Hilleberg Soulo. So in this video, I'm going to take you through my tent evolution from a Lichfield Facebook free to a Hilleberg Soulo. There's a bit of a difference. So I'm really happy that it's just started to rain, but we're going to crack on anyway. So this is the Lichfield Treklite 200, a free Facebook Marketplace tent. I knew nothing about this tent, but picked it up and I'm going to set it up and show you it now. So this is it, my first ever wild camping tent in a subtle blue colour. So making sure I'm very inconspicuous while wild camping. But I did genuinely have my first wild camp in this tent and it was amazing. And I used it again and again and again. This brings back memories. Let's open her up, have a little look. Even just setting her up, I remember what a great little tent this was. So this Lichfield is a 2-man inner first, unfortunately, but it's such a quick and easy tent to set up. There is a lot of mesh. It is a fantastic summer tent. And let's open her up. And I'm going to show you guys inside. Here she is, the Lichfield 200. God, this brings back memories. I spent so long in this tent. Things I liked about it would have been there was no condensation whatsoever. There's so much mesh in here, you're just not getting it. Obviously, it's a 2-part tent with the outer and the inner. They had this, oh yeah, that's it. I've got this little foam pad, which seems a bit crushed now, but that would really just keep the outer off of the inner. Multiple pockets, well, 2, a pocket that side and a pocket that side. But the best thing about this Lichfield tent was, and if I can show you, it's got 3 toggles up on the inner where you've got like these baskets that you can put your phone in. So I spent many an hour with some sugar-free Werther's Originals and my phone popped up, sitting there watching a movie. And it was free and it did the trick. So this was my first ever wild camping tent, the Lichfield 200 in an inconspicuous blue. Let me show you the next tent I moved on to after this one. Okay, so next up, after my little blue Lichfield, I moved on to something a little bit better. This is the OEX Phoxx 2 version 2, and it is a phenomenal piece of kit. It's absolutely incredible. It was around £60 from Go Outdoors, and I don't truly think I knew how good this was. But now with a little more experience and having used the tent a few times, I actually realised how great it was. So let me set it up and give you guys a little look. So this was my second tent, the OEX Phoxx 2 version 2, upgrading from my little Lichfield. Super similar tent in shape, design. You can leave the outer attached to it whilst threading the poles through it. It makes it slightly easier. So let's open it up, have a little look. The vestibule's really not that big on this tent. The other thing that was awful about this tent is these little toggles. They're really bad. With the Lichfield, you have like the elastic on them, so it keeps it tight. Whereas I found with the OEX, you could probably modify it quite easily, but the doors kept coming undone. And vestibule, not too big. However, the tent itself, what a bit of kit. Let's roll her up and have a look inside. My God, I've spent countless hours in this tent. Oh, love it. Couple of little pockets at the back. To be fair, I'd never really used them. This is, I would say, a 3-season tent. Most of it is covered. The back wall's mesh. The foot end, obviously, you've got quite a bit of mesh. But you've got an awful lot of space. I'd say a little bit more than the Lichfield. 2-man tent and or a 1-man with loads of space. The only thing that used to drive me mad about this tent is it wasn't quite high enough to sit up in. There's only one place you could sit up in, and that was here. But can you see how cramped I am? And the only place to hang a light was right where my head was. The tent has 2 doors, so it's a double opening. This side here is replicated on the other side, but such a good bit of kit. Really well made, OEX. And even though I say 3-season, I honestly feel you can get away with 4-season if you really bring the fly to the ground as much as possible and get yourself a good sleep system. So yeah, absolutely love this tent, even though I've just caked it with mud. So I'm going to get this one down now and pop up the 3rd out the 4 tents. This is the OneTigris Stella coming up. This is the tent before I bit the bullet and went for the Hilleberg Soulo. Sulu, something like that. So after the Lichfield and then the OEX Phoxx 2, I went for my first 4-season tent. This is the OneTigris Stella. I wasn't massively impressed with it. From the manufacturer, a little bit of a dodgy zip. Fly doesn't go all the way to the ground. However, really, really roomy. I didn't have a bad night in it. I'm going to set it up and show you now. So this is the OneTigris Stella. There's no wind. I haven't got the guy lines put out on this one because I'm just popping up to show you, then I'm going to take it down. However, as you can see straight away, I was really unsure about, look how high the fly is off the floor. But that is the design. It is meant to be like that. I thought I was doing something wrong. Turns out not so much. That is just the design of the tent. And also, let's just pop open this air vent. So the little air vents are on the corner of the doors there. It was really unfortunate. This came out the factory with a slight imperfection on the zip. I have got a pair of pliers and just crimped the 2 teeth together. Hopefully that's resolved the issue. Let's open her up and have a little look. Now, up until this point, I had not stayed in tents this big at all. This was an absolute game changer for me. And here she is. Oh my gosh, I'm tempted to stay in this tonight. It's such a roomy tent. Let's show you. So having used the little 2-man Lichfield and then the OEX Phoxx 2, to suddenly get in something like this was a bit of a game changer. It doesn't weigh a massive amount as well, which is really surprising. It's still under the 3-kilo mark. And I know everyone's going for crazy lightweight tents, however, or trekking pole tents. But then if you've got a bit of wind, like we get in the UK, just look at Wild Bear's latest video with the Durston, really expensive trekking pole tent, and it can't survive wind. So this was me in the OneTigris. A really sturdy tent, good pole setup, fly too high for me, extremely dark when you're in it, almost blackout, and so much room. It was crazy. Multiple places to hang lines. You can sit up, you can almost kneel in it and get changed. So I started with a Facebook free. I went to a £60 OEX. And then I went up to this, the OneTigris Stella, around £200 with the footprint, because the floor is quite thin. I definitely would recommend a footprint. So this was the £200 range, and I spent 1 night in this. And there was 1 tent I regretted not getting. And now I'm going to set that one up. Finally, we have the tent I upgraded to, from 3 tents to this one. Starting from Facebook free up to a Hilleberg Soulo. Now, I've used this tent once only, and Hilleberg are now the brand for me. They make all other tents look crap. in comparison. I've used it up on Kinder Scout, where I put a link in the description. Super windy, loads of snow. It was minus God knows what, and I was comfy all night long and never had any worries about the tent. Yes, there are cheaper tents out there. Look at Wild Bear's latest video with the Durston trekking tent that literally says it is storm worthy, and it blew down in a storm. So it took one night in the OneTigris Stella to say to me, come on, let's upgrade. Let's just bite the bullet, go for a Hilleberg, get your lifetime guarantee for any manufacturer's issues that you've got with the tent. I'm gonna set it up now and show you the Hilleberg Soulo. So here we are. She is set up. This is the Hilleberg Soulo, and there's not much I can say about this tent other than it's absolutely unreal. I wouldn't usually put it underneath a tarp, but I had a tarp up because I was showing the other tents. So this tent is in green. Ideally I wanted it in brown, but I couldn't wait, and I bought it in green. It was better than the red, and you can see it is an outer first with the inner already attached. Ridiculously strong, storm-worthy, good-looking tent. Very geometric, very cool. Let me open her up and show you inside. Every little thing about this tent screams quality. It even has a rain gutter that runs along this top vent. These storm flaps along here are ridiculous. Let me open her up. Even the clips that hold back the doors and various parts are just good quality. Let's show you inside. So this is her with the door open. You can see I've got the footprint here just to make it slightly protected at the bottom. Let's undo her. So you've got like a double door. Oh, and here she is. I love her so much. So you can see already I can sit a lot better than the OEX Phoxx. Let me show you a little bit closer. Come in. And just down here, you can see the vestibule area with the footprint. Really nice. I think there's loads of room. Some people say there's not enough. For me, it's absolutely fine. Once you've emptied your pack and got your bits sorted, you're good to go. So you can see your vestibule leads onto your inner. That's the foot end down there. But ideally, you should be pitching into the wind. For me, there's absolutely oodles of room. I'm just really happy that in the time I've been wild camping, I've gone from a Facebook free tent up to the world's best tent. So here she is, after quite a while of wild camping and after 3 other tents, this is where I'm at, the Hilleberg Soulo, and this is the evolution of my tent journey in wild camping. If you want to see my journey up Kinder Scout with the Hilleberg Soulo, and there was a lot of wind and a lot of snow, but an amazing day, the link to that video will be in the description. And do me a favor, if you can subscribe, I'd massively appreciate it. I hate it when YouTubers ask people to subscribe, but I'm close to the 1,000 and that unlocks things for me on YouTube. That's me, and appreciate you watching.